Welcome to Be Somebody. Today's special guest is Joseline Mendoza. Joseline is a multi-hyphenate artist whose works span acting, dancing, music, and fashion, to name a few. She talks about discovering herself as an artist, working with her childhood hero, quitting a mortgage to move to the big city, and surviving a cult. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Be Somebody podcast.
Be Somebody podcast.
Here we are with a very special guest. Joseline, Jocelyn, Joss,
Joseline.
JJ, as we all call her JJ. We've never called her JJ.
Jojo.
Yeah, special guest. You're our first guest in this new iteration of Be Somebody, so welcome.
First guest, season 3.
Bro, we gotta drop the seasons. We're not doing the seasons. Technically, it is season 3, but this is the revival.
The revival of the podcast.
The
Brand new
revival
phase.
podcast.
All right. I'm Amadeo.
I'm Enrique.
And I'm Joseline.
Yes.
There you go.
Um,
Welcome back, y'all.
welcome back.
Or welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is
And
an honor
for
to be
those
here.
of you that don't know, Be Somebody is.
Be Somebody is a network of enthusiasm, a platform for positivity, and a way for us to help each other, help ourselves, help our communities, and live a lifestyle where we feel as though we're aware that we can make a difference. We're aware of the power that we have within ourselves to make changes.
Exactly.
So you don't need anything special. You don't need to change everything. You don't need a cold plunge. You don't need to do hot yoga. Like everything that's like you're capable of making the change that you want to make to live the life that you want. And you're also capable of creating change in other people as well, no matter who you are.
Exactly.
Be Somebody is not like, us trying to tell you that like, okay, you're nobody, but by listening to this or by like listening to us, you're going to be somebody. At the end of this, it's always been about everyone is a somebody, but be somebody who can make a change. Be somebody.
Insert the t-shirt, yeah.
Be somebody blank.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Jocelyn, being our first guest, Joseline, being our first guest, is someone that empowers this. I believe, and Amdo believes, which is why you're here, and is also part of the community that is our community, our personal community, which we've talked a lot about community and having that community in your life.
Yeah, I mean, not only as a friend, but also as a fellow actor,
fellow creative,
and someone who's also in this entertainment industry trying to just make it happen.
Right.
And
is making it happen.
That is making it
Yeah,
happen.
it is making it happen.
So, yeah, welcome, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
Okay, well, I am from Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Yeah.
originally. Born and raised. A little bit about me.
Yeah.
I guess I like art. I like food. I like trying new things and really pushing myself to try new things and doing things. I like outdoorsy things. I like just adrenaline and yeah.
Yeah, a true artist to its core.
When did you notice these personality traits? Like, was it something that like was always there? Like when you were young, did you kind of like come out more as you got older?
No, I feel like they for sure have always been there.
Like, what's the earliest
Yeah.
memory you have of you just being full creative self? If you're okay sharing with.
No, yeah, I guess something that I think about a lot is like when I was a kid, my mom would always tell me that she didn't know what to do to ground me because I would always find something to do. I would always entertain myself. So if she would, take my DS away, I would go color. If she would take my coloring book away, I would go play outside. If she would take that away, then I would literally always find something to do. So I feel like, yeah, that was one of my youngest memory of just like being a kid and just always figuring out what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, did you always know that you wanted to be, because as we mentioned, you're pursuing this path of, creative and artist in its truest self, which, Jocelyn is also a very big fashion person. Whenever I need fashion advice, I go to Amadeo and Jocelyn.
He goes to me first.
But
Just so
also,
you know.
pursuing being an actor, you are an actor, as well as, I mean, there's so many things that you do. It's kind of hard to do a kind of describe it, but you are, I think, the truest self of like what is an artist, which is so many crafts. But when you were younger, like, did you always, did you know what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be? Like, how was like that path?
Yeah, I actually feel like I wanted to be in movies since I was a kid. I had a best friend, and her and I would always say that we were going to be in movies and that we were just going to make it whenever we were older. And I mean, I also feel like my career option besides that changed often. I wanted to be a marine biologist at some point because I was really into science. But that escalated very,
What's
very
your favorite
quickly.
sea animal?
Sharks. I really like sharks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I feel like I also wanted to be a muralist because I was really into drawing more so when I was a kid. But overall, I knew I wanted to be in movies.
Yeah.
But
What's one of these like early films that you saw growing up?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what was it? Was there a specific movie that you saw that
Yeah.
like put this spark within you? It was
Oh,
like, I gotta
man.
be in a movie.
yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I could think of one right off the bat.
You got to think of one right
Okay,
now.
okay. Thinking,
5,
thinking.
4.
Hurry up.
Whoa,
No, it's okay. You don't have
No,
to.
no, no. It definitely, I can't think of a movie, but I really liked X-Men. So X-Men for me, I was like, I want to be an X-Men. And then I saw the movies and I was like, wow, these are not that great. But I was like, I want to be that. Like, it doesn't matter. I want to be in X-Men. So I guess I would say X-Men. Yeah. And then the comics, like I really liked the style of it and just the whole idea of having a power that pertains only to you. So I would always be curious to know what my power would be depending on, what my personality is and how that matches to what I would get. But I would, X-Men.
All right, Marvel executives, you're here, and you got the next person to cast right here on both of these couches.
Please.
And for the next Marvels to make them better.
When you think about X-Men, when you think about like a power that you would have, what's a power that you would like to have?
I feel like it'd be cool to be able to control the elements because then I would get all kinds of different things in one. So if I would be able to, control fire and water and earth and all of these things, then I could already fly if I wanted to. I could already, I don't know, a lot of other things because I have all these different
So you
things
would
to pull
say, would you say that you like an outlet that lets you explore and be free and try all sorts of things simultaneously without feeling like boxed in?
that I have an outlet now.
Would you
Or
say
like-
that like would you say that that's something that you feel? Well, since you when I hear like, oh, I want to control the elements and I want to have like all sorts of powers roll into one because
Yeah.
then I can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
That makes me think like, do you think you're looking for like you low-key wanted an outlet where you can do all sorts of these things that you're interested in like at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's also partially what makes me so interested in acting is because I feel like, oh, I still get to be Joe like throughout my life, but I can be a chef. I can be, this badass who rides a motorcycle everywhere
Exactly.
because I feel like I can do that in real life because I don't want to die because I want to pursue acting. So, but I do think that's something that adds to my interest in film, is being able to do that. But also like I love like I said, I love doing all kinds of things and there's not enough time or money for all these things. So it's like I wish I could drum next week. I wish I could roller skate, in a few days. I wish I could, but I can't.
Yeah, I feel like Joseline's like someone that I know that every time I talk to her, there's like a new thing that you're doing. Like you just said, drumming. I want to learn how to I want to do like kickflip, how to sing. I want to learn Portuguese, like all these things where I'm like, yeah, there really is no time. But like that's what I admire so much is that you're always like for you, like there is like, oh no, but I don't have time. But you actually like actively try to do it, which is like insane to me. I'm curious to hear like a little bit about just like bring us like to the present. Like if you want to like talk a little bit about how it was for like the crucial periods that we always talk about, like when you were in middle school, high school, like how was that period for you personally?
Before we move on real quick, if you don't mind, I wanted to say real quick that just like I really resonate with that just because I'm also somebody who's interested in so much and I want to do everything and I want to be involved in that. I want to see what that feels like. What would that mean for me?
Yeah.
And so acting in the very beginning, I think one thing that really, really fired me up and wanted me to like keep it pushing as far as possible was this like saying that I would say is just like, why live one life when you could live many?
Yeah.
Or this is my opportunity to become what I could never be. Like I can play an astronaut. I can play a cowboy. I can play, a ping pong player. I could play whatever. And I can just like involve myself in the circumstances of someone completely different, yet also with like through my experience.
Yeah.
So like even if that's not my life and my circumstances, I can still kind of like try to bring out my personality, who I am, and push that into the role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no one like you. So you're going to bring in something completely different to a cowboy, to an astronaut, to whoever that is, because it's you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's
That's
no
why I
one
love
like you.
No one like you, man.
Damn.
Remember that.
Yeah, so earlier so I was saying, just about like this period that we always talk about, which is very crucial, like middle school, high school, like how was that coming up for you in terms of being like such a explosive, creative person, like going through this year, like, because I just speak about that.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like I haven't really thought about this in a while. I feel like middle school, and so somebody that I feel like I owe a lot to, though, constantly, is my mom. And she really I think, might get emotional out of nowhere, but I feel like she was somebody that saw a lot of potential in me for, like, since I was tiny. And so I knew, like, originally I knew that I really liked dancing. And so because I was watching YouTube videos, and I thought I was in Step Up too. And so
not one, but two. The two with the rain and all
That
that.
movie is fire, bro.
honestly.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
But
So
she was
sick.
like, "Oh no, I'm gonna put you in like a performing arts school." And I was like, at first, like, I didn't want to go to a performing arts school because I felt like a performing arts school was like super preppy and like only like some kids got to go to, and that I feel like I wouldn't really have a chance to get into. I also just wanted to go to a different public school because I wanted to be with my cousins, with all my paisa cousins, and like, you know, be with like everybody else, and hearing stories from older cousins and how they went to school together and how they had a blast and stuff. I was like, I want that instead. But she was like, no, like, I'm going to put you in this school and like, you're going to try it. And if you don't like it, then I'll take you out and I'll put you somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, like, I guess. And it was like a lottery school. So thankfully, like, I made it in and I got to go to school. And when I went, like, I was like, I don't want to leave, you know. I was like, this is what I want to be doing, surrounded by all the arts. But I do think that it was really hard for me to, like, be in those spaces because it just felt like I wasn't fully, like, there was something missing with myself, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know like what it like really was. I felt, but I mean, there's a lot of things I think that add to kids growing up now. I mean, not nowadays, but in general, of like, you know, body images or feeling like you have to look a certain way or dress a certain way. Especially in like a school that I felt like was very preppy, you know, and I felt like I had to like fit in a specific way.
Was it competitive?
I don't want to say like super competitive because it was really small. But I do think that like there was this weird feeling of having to like be good at it. And I mean, which is fine. It's fair too, because I think that's what pushes you to continue to like get better at it. But, I mean, as a kid, I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. I just know I like to dance, and like that's what originally like I was mostly going for. But yeah, it just felt like weird. And I think part of it too is because, I mean, eventually I ended up coming out, and I think me coming out is like pansexual and like really being in like more authentic to myself. I feel like I was like, oh wow, these are some of the pieces that like I was not knowing like were what made me. And then just like how you were you heard mentioned earlier, like feeling more confident in yourself and like starting to know more about you as like who you are as a person, the things you like, you don't like, all of these things that you want to strive for, then I think adds to the comfortability with yourself. And I think slowly, very slowly, like to this day still,
but surely,
but surely, that it like has gotten a little bit more like in sync.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
So would you go as far to say that perhaps you didn't feel so supported within that environment in the performing arts school? Or did you have that kind of collection of people that you could turn to that you feel like, you know, they helped me push myself and I helped them push beyond what they thought was kind of possible too? Like, did you have that encouragement and enthusiasm?
Well, I feel like yes and no, because as I mentioned, like my mom was very supportive, but at the same time, I feel like being Mexican American and I'm a first generation born in the US, like there's a lot of pressure to actually be successful.
Oh,
And I
100%.
feel like the arts aren't necessarily that. And I feel like I didn't really have a lot of support from my family. I mean, and I don't say that 100%, because I know that they care about me and they want me to be successful, but they would always tell me like, okay, like that's your hobby. Like, okay, the arts are your hobby, but what's your actual job? And so growing up, I feel like that was a little hard because I was like, no, but I want to do art, but how do I actually make that then so I don't feel like I'm disappointing my family, or so I don't feel like I'm not good enough to actually make it in like this industry or whatever. But yeah, I think yes and no. I think there were also people in school. Like I had a very close teacher, who she was great, but I related to her and we interacted more because she was also Mexican and she was a Spanish teacher. So I literally would have my lunches with her in school because like I just felt comfortable with her, and I felt really supported by her then too. But I think I had a good group of friends that also were pretty supportive, but so that's why I say it's like maybe in the middle, like 50-50.
Yeah.
Like yes and no.
Performing arts school is such a unique upbringing. Like, of course, traditional middle schools and high schools, like those come with their own challenges, and like you're feeling things for the first time. You're thinking about how you look all of a sudden, and like I don't know, you're kind of just, who am I in this world?
Mm-hmm.
Who do I fit in with? Like what do I do? Where do I go? But then you take those feelings, you place them in a performing arts school, where all of a sudden like people all around you are very passionate about one certain thing. A lot of them are very good at it. Sometimes there is that competitive element, and I don't know if that was like, I would definitely be a different person if I went to something like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. I feel like if
know.
I even went to a public school, I feel like maybe there would, maybe I still would have been the same. But like in some things, like I do think that does something different to you.
Do you think it benefited you to have gone to a school like this as opposed to if you would have gone to like a regular high school?
I don't know if benefit's like the right word, just
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, I mean, I do feel like I missed out on like, I didn't do all the sports like events and stuff. Maybe not until college. And even then I wasn't too involved, but I feel like there were certain things that I feel like I missed out on as my high school like experiences. But I don't know. I mean, it's funny too because it's just such a small school that like I knew it was both the middle school and high school. So I feel like I knew both like the middle school and like I knew everybody, and because it was just so small. And then there was like not, after a while, like it felt like I wasn't being pushed a whole lot either. Like, but it might have been just like the space it was. Like we were in portables, even though it was a charter school. We were taking dance classes in a portable. So it was, I don't know.
Too.
It's just like, so you get it.
Well, maybe not dancing, but we were in portables.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm curious to hear more about, which I think you spoke on, which is very important, is this whole aspect of like first generation and pressure. And I feel like we're at the age where we've kind of like gone over we're still going over the big hill of, it's not just a hobby, it's like our life and like what we're trying to do. And it doesn't just apply to the arts, but like just in general, like I feel like there's this pressure as like being first generation that you need to do more and you need to aim for the stars. And we'll speak about it. I don't want to give up too much, but you like recently had a big role that your family was like blown away by, and like that is like the best way to show them like, look, it's much
serious.
more than what you think. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear, like, do you feel like now that you've kind of in a sense like proving yourself, it's gotten better? Has it not? Like, how did you like go through that, which is a big question, I know, because I myself like still go through it of like trying to tell like I go to like my grandma or like my aunt in like Mexico, and I'm like trying to describe to them like what I do for like work, and like it goes over their head, which is like, I say that respectfully, like it's just like even what I do, like trying to explain to people, like they're just like, I don't know. It makes no sense.
How has that pressure evolved?
Yeah. And thank you for saying that too, respectfully, for my family that sees this too. Like, I love you all. But yeah, I think that example that you used too was the one that kind of, I feel like, opened up the possibilities for all of us in a way, because yeah, like I've been serious about this, and I feel like until they saw a result, that's when they were like, oh, okay, like this like you're not kidding. Which in some way, like, it felt a little crappy, you know, to be like, oh wait, so did you believe in me before or no, you know, like,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, but it still felt really good because you're like, okay, like, I am capable, I can do it, and you're seeing it. And so now, like, now you believe me, so now it feel like in some way even more stronger because like I have other people that do believe in me, and they're my family. And so that feels just really good to know that's there. So I think that that's the biggest way that it's evolved now, is just feeling like I can, like, even if I do get stuck, or even that I'm gonna have them regardless. And having that trust in myself, and them having the trust in me, I think too, I feel like sometimes can feel a little bit like wait, do you, like, I think it's just the part of not wanting to disappoint them that can get in my head sometimes, and then I don't want to let them down, and I don't want to feel like what they do for me is gonna go in vain. But then it's also like I need to like take a breather and just be like, okay, well, you know, like, we didn't ask to be here also.
Hey, for real, we didn't ask to be here, but here we are.
I'm your kid, like, you kind of have to take care of me. You know what I mean? But, you know, I guess it's, yeah.
I thought about it as well in terms of, you know, my background coming from Mexico, immigrating when I was 2. I was born in Mexico. I'm not first generation American born, but I'm kind of the first person from my mom's side of the family to live in the United States, to grow up in the United States, to grow up Americanized, to receive a college education in this country, to graduate from that college. This pressure, I think, how I feel about it is just, my family wants nothing more than for me to be happy and to feel as though, like, you got to believe in yourself, dude, because they've made sacrifices. One could kind of interpret the making of those sacrifices as like, okay, well, now I got to really lock in and like bring my family like above everything that we've suffered through before. Mm-hmm. Another way to interpret it could be as though my family sacrificed what they did in order for me to perhaps be more flexible, to explore more, to have a chance at something that they never could. Whether they had to work from a very young age and they had to not be able to receive an education because of said work and having to provide. Now that I have a child, like, yeah, dude, like, go check that out. Go try it. Like, see what's out there.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of helped out with the pressure a little bit. Of course, like, you know, I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to take care of my future family. And that's where my family comes from, more often than not nowadays. It's not like, you know, my dad's never told me, like, you need to do this specific thing to be this specific guy. It's always just been like, man, you see how hard we work. Like, I want you to put in the same amount of effort, but like for what you love to do, for who you are. So that's been like a blessing. Not everyone will have that experience, but yeah, I mean, I still feel it. I'm like, damn. Like, do you feel just as weighed down by it as you did like when you were younger, or do you feel like that weight is a little lighter?
Oh no, for sure lighter.
Today?
Yeah, I feel like for sure lighter. It's still there, especially now too, because it now feels like yes, I have all the support, but it starts to get more and more challenging because then it feels like you're breaking through more and more things. And it just gets harder. Like, it never gets easier. Life never gets easier. Jobs never gets easier. Nothing gets easier.
It gets more complicated, if anything.
It's more complicated.
Yeah.
You just learn to navigate it, I guess, maybe in different ways, and why it makes it a little bit more doable. But it for sure is never easier. And so I think that, like, yes, lighter. So to answer your question, yes, lighter. But I think that then other things start to weigh it down a little bit more too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool. I'm curious to hear about, like, you know, you finish school, you go through all that, and like the big launch pad that is everyone's life, like after you graduate, you know, hitting the real world and like pursuing what you're doing, which, you know, I know it's hard because, like, obviously I know Joseline for a while, so I'm like I don't want to speak for her, but I know there's, like, you know, there was work that was done and then you landed stuff and you got us here. So just like take us through these like past few years, like how you got to where you're at now. Because obviously, you know, you're here in Los Angeles with us, and that was a move, you know. But you know, there were certain things that happened before.
Yeah, I think that honestly, the biggest thing that I think triggered everything was the passing of one of my best friends in college. And that was a friend that I had mentioned in the beginning that we would always talk about being in movies when we were older and everything. And when she passed, then it also kind of felt like this pressure that, well, I don't want to say pressure, but it was also like a
like
want.
A promise.
And like a promise of, like, this isn't just for me anymore. Like, why did we forget our dream? You know, this is now for both of us. And that's kind of what started like pushing me to really, like, I saw literally nothing else. Like, I saw nothing else as my career option. This is what was happening. And so it started there, and then I graduated college. And I was like, well, cause there was a time in college where I wanted to drop out. Cause I mean, college is a joke sometimes. Like, if you're not in STEM, it's just a scam for money. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm doing art. Like, I could really just use like half of that money to actually go take acting classes elsewhere, you know, and not have to take these stupid prerequisites. Stats. What do I need stats for as an actor? You know, like, I mean, it's relevant information for you to know math, but like, I don't need stats. You know,
you're here, folks. Math.
Math. But yeah, so my family was like, girl, like, if you do that, we're gonna be very upset. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want you to be upset, so I will stay in college. Stayed in college, graduated, and then after I was like, okay, like, what's next, you know? And when I graduated, you guys were already out here, so it was always the plan to come with them. But then kind of life happened for me, and I started working at a job. And in my head, I was like, I started working at a movie theater because I was like, I want to go in movies. So it's kind of cool to see the backbone of like where movies get shown and like all this. And then I worked there for a summer, but I was working with high schoolers. Like, this was I had a degree, you know what I mean? And I was working at the movies, which is, you know, fine. There's no, but it just for me, I was like, okay, well, like, you know, what am I doing? And then I got into a car accident, and then I had other things happen, and just life continues to life, and had gotten another job. And so I was just kind of figuring myself out in Albuquerque. And then I was working at that job, and then I ended up losing another one of my best friends who also passed away. I had like broken my wrist and surgeries, and
all the life is happening. The job
life was happening, and one of my surgeries was gonna be for like my head, and I was like, well, I don't want to. This was like a moment where I was like, I don't want to live a life where I am regretting things or where I'm not going for what I want. And there was a person who I wanted to go for. And so I was like, this is something that I want to do too. And I ended up reaching out to this person, and I wanted to be with them, and we were in a relationship, and then that didn't work out. So then I was like, okay, like, now what, you know? Like, I felt like I saw myself in this life with this person, and then now that didn't happen. So like, what's next, you know? And I was like, okay, like, I dropped everything, and that's kind of where I left. And I had bought a house within all that chaoticness. So
Jesus Christ, everything that you lived a whole lifetime in what, these like 2 years?
Yeah. And so I had gotten a house, so I was really focusing on that for a while. And then I literally only lived here or in that house for like 8 months before I decided to leave. I packed up my stuff. I left in the course of a month, which was crazy because like I had to, you know, figure out what I was going to do with this new space I bought. I had to figure out what to do with all my stuff. I had to figure out, I had no money. I didn't have a job. I had lost my job because of the role that I had gotten at the beginning of the year. So I had no job. I didn't have any money saved. And so I was just like, like everything was falling apart. There was just so much happening.
Yeah.
And there was a lot happening. On top of that, like I had gone to this cult thing, which is just like this whole crazy thing. But there's just a lot to add on to everything that was like going on. You're looking at me like,
there's like 3. I'm like trying to keep up all the things I want to follow back on. Cole, choosing
House.
a life with someone and then it not
What
working,
to do with that?
the role that you got,
Yeah.
all this.
There's a lot. But all that to say, then I literally just figured that out. I hopped in my car in the course of that month, and then I was gone. Came out here and I was couch surfing with some of my best friends, and I literally just the rest goes from there, I guess. Now we're here. I still don't have a job. But how
But
am
you're
I
getting
doing
work.
it? Like I
Yeah,
have
you're
no
getting work though. You're
idea.
getting work. You literally just booked a commercial.
I did. Thankfully, like that's something that was
Yeah.
holding me
Yeah.
down. But like everything is so, what's the word? Like you don't know what's happening, and like
Unpredictable?
uncertain
Uncertain,
and unpredictable. Both are great words. And so I'm just kind of continuing to push and working really hard every day. And I love being in LA. I really do. But it's been tough.
It's okay. You don't have to say
The
it.
struggle is
It's a
tough.
struggle.
Okay. Let's
That's
go
good.
back and touch some certain things that you mentioned. Okay, I'm curious to like go back because we learned about your whole life, which is
We
great.
learned a lot
and that's something I love about Joseline, and she's so open about her life. I'm curious to hear about this because I think a lot of people, including myself, like get fascinated with this idea of like what if, or chasing someone. Like our mind can be so powerful, but it can also be so like dangerous,
Yeah.
Like I'm curious to know like how it was for you when like something you've been building towards or someone and it just like it wasn't it, and like how you recap or how you move forward with that.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, being in Albuquerque, and mind you, like when I was with this person too, I feel like I was very happy, and there was like, how do I, like, I found myself, I was in this house. I just got it. I was, adding things. I was cleaning it up and I was fixing it. And I remember thinking when we were coming closer to an end, like, I was thinking about getting curtains. Like, that was one of my biggest thoughts because I was like, I was literally thinking about getting curtains. Like, whenever my life, I had not ever seen it to settle down in a place necessarily, so for me to be thinking about getting curtains for like my living
that is
room,
crazy.
I was like, that was like a very interesting, like, kind of just like topic that I really focused on whenever things were happening, because I was just like, how interesting that I feel like I was okay with this, and I don't regret anything at all. And I did see at some point I was still gonna come out here, but I saw myself coming with this partner, and that we were gonna come out here together, and like all these things. But it's also something that somebody else can't follow your dreams, and that's another thing too, is like, what if this isn't what this person wanted? What if this isn't even, and like you said, chasing somebody, like, then what's left of you, and this was like my first relationship, so I feel like I learned a lot, my first and last, but but I do think that like I took a whole lot of things from this relationship, and again, like, I don't regret it. I don't think this relationship held me back. I do think that I gained a lot from it, but I also feel like it was really nice for me to see that like I was capable of loving someone the way that I did, because I always thought that I've always been so career oriented, and I've always just been focused on like making it and creating and live the life that I want to live, that for me a relationship and a person was never in my like list of things.
Sure.
But it was very beautiful for me to take away that I am capable of being there for somebody else the same way that I can be there for myself. But also like vice versa. Like, I think there were certain things that I feel like I learned that I need to be more attentive to myself, instead of like putting it so much into another person, especially if like, again, like another person is another person. There's nothing you can do, because at the end of the day, another person is going to have their own choices, their own, wants, their own, whatever their life's going to take them. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I even forgot your question.
No, I think a lot of what you're hitting is like this fascination of like almost like I don't even want to say getting lost, losing yourself in someone else, but you know, it very much is this is a powerful thing, and it's not until like that rug is like pulled from your feet that you can like acknowledge like, oh wow, like as even like the strongest person I know that like is such an individualist, like it can happen to him, you know?
Right. No. Yeah. And that's like, yeah, that's a really great point. Because I feel like when I was in this relationship, I didn't necessarily lose myself because I was still like focused and having to do certain whatever I could in the place that I could. Because also being in Albuquerque, there's not a lot of resources there. And so I feel like I've been stunted. Is that the right word? Like
Stunted.
just stuck there. Yeah. For a while already in terms of my growth.
Yeah. I think basically what we're trying to get at is like just getting lost in not just relationships, but like someone's normal 9 to 5, someone's normal job, whether it's a sense of like being comfortable, getting complacent, that stunts your growth from what you're trying to do. And a lot of people don't really realize this until they get the rug pulled underneath them, they lose their job.
Oh, right.
And
Yes.
it's just a matter of like, how can we, you know, not reach that barrier, you know, that wall.
I tried not to let go of a lot of what I was still focusing on. And I think that is still, regardless, what kept me like a little afloat, I feel like. But I also do think that something that in general is a good thing that I took away from it, and it feels like this is always something that I've known anyway, in terms of like not needing to depend on something to like make you fully happy, you know, like not needing to depend on your job, not needing to depend on a person, not needing to depend on something external to really make you like really happy. And I feel like that's like where that kind of came from too. Whenever that rug slipped, it's like, okay, like that, I don't need any of this. Like, what do I want? You know, what do I truly like? Where do I want to go? What is it that like will make me happy? And then trying to follow that, I guess, again. I don't know.
No,
it's also
sure.
not like, yeah.
It's a hard question to answer and like talk about. But I also want to talk about cults. But is there anything else you want to talk about?
Enrique and I were just recently talking about just how much it hurts to lose a relationship that you really cared about.
Yeah, we were.
That regardless of the pain, you still have this realization that this love was so beautiful, and especially like if it was, I don't know, maybe a more meaningful or a deeper connection than you've ever had before, and then that connection was like sustained over X amount of time, like it could be a year, whatever it might be, to all of a sudden have to break off from that, it still is a beautiful thing. And it's like, I love that I was able to love this deeply.
Exactly. Yeah, because for forever in my life, it felt like I was broken in some way. Like I felt like I couldn't connect with people like very on like a deep level romantically. I couldn't, like, there was nobody really that I was very interested in, or like maybe it was my commitment issues. You know, I have daddy issues. I actually had mommy issues. Like all these things kind of stem in there. But I feel like just the biggest thing that I took is really knowing that like I can do that, you know. And now it helps with the acting world because I have somewhere to pull from. You know, I have somewhere to pull from. Exactly. But yeah, it was a little mind-blowing for me, for everybody, like everyone in my family, because like you said, I'm an open book, like, and my family, everyone was like, Jules has like a partner and like all of these things, and I was like, I don't know, man, but like knowing that I could do that, like we're capable of so many things, you know, like, and we just will never know that unless you try.
So I was curious, you said that in the past you felt broken as though something were just not like clicking within you when it came to like your connections with other people. And once you had this deep, intimate, important relationship, and now that you're on the other side of it, do you think that that relationship, or like the result of that relationship, has influenced how you connect with people now, whether, regardless if it's romantic or not, even just like from, making new friends?
I think now I see how when people talk about like, oh, I learned so much about myself in a relationship, blah, 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 because I feel like I took so much from being in this relationship, not only from, you know, how I love somebody, but how I would like to be loved, and how, excuse me, whenever I connect with other people, like the things that I feel like we all kind of need to be on the same page, you know, on or with. I think especially nowadays, like, I think it's important that we are all really on the same page on, morals and like human things, and like in terms of like, the political climate, or just like are you cool with my existence basically,
Right, just
like
being a
I
good
think
person.
that's like the biggest thing that I in general took, because as we mentioned, or I mentioned earlier, the whole cult stuff, and being in that too, learning a lot about the things that are being put into people's heads, and the malicious intent that lies behind a lot of people, that sometimes it's consciously or subconsciously, right?
It's important to be on the same page when it comes to morals, values, and it's okay to have differing opinions about certain things. However,
Absolutely.
you do have those non-negotiables. You do have those things. I think, well, these are important to me, like as a person. These are important to me as this is what I identify with, and if we don't agree on that, then that's kind of like against, you don't agree with me,
right,
like as a person.
Period. Yeah.
Like my existence. So that's not really like sustainable for a long-term relationship. Yeah, because I mean, you were saying that you disagree with me on something. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm just saying we're not gonna 100% agree on everything.
Whatever. Something else you wanted to say, Enrique?
Oh, I just want to talk about Colts. That's what I want to talk about.
I'm dying to hear about
That's the only thing I want to talk about. So,
yeah.
So wait, hold on a second. Take it from the page. Like, how did you end up in this situation? What is going on here?
yeah. So,
okay, well, so yeah, this culty place. I'm like, where do I even start? So it it's this place that is ran by some guy. At first, when I learned of this place, like I had my suspicions, but like I just wanted to give it a shot, because like, one, I wanted to be supportive for this person, and two, I also wanted to just know what it was about. Like, I'm an open person, and I love learning about new perspectives, the way people are, the way people perceive, and I wanted to go check it out. So I started going, and just long story short, started to see that it wasn't a good place. And I stopped going, and to this, I mean, that I'm pretty sure is one of the reasons as to why this person and I are no longer together. And I just think that it is, I mean, cults, we're familiar with them, right? Like, plates.
well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so curious, because when I think of cults, I think of like, for some reason, like everything's
Illuminati.
black. Well, I was thinking everything's black and white, and it's the 1960s, and like people are like, yeah, there's tons of tragedies I don't need to mention, but like it's like this devoted thing that usually leads to horrible things.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so crazy to think that like we're like the present where everything's in color, and that's a joke.
No.
But like people are doing like
But it's
laugh.
true.
Laugh, that's a joke.
laugh.
And people are doing things like these devoted like crazy things, which is why I'm so curious. Like it's but why do like these people fall into them? Because things we were talking about earlier, like having a community, having other people in your life that hold yourself accountable, like
It's kind of like the perversion of that.
They don't
Right.
believe in accountability,
Necessity.
but yeah.
Right.
But no, yeah, this place doesn't. And I really wish one day maybe I will like out the place. Mainly the person. Like, it's just he knows, he has to know that he's not doing a good thing. And I feel like it's building a space that he's creating these people to literally just depend on him for their happiness, which I think is going to be inaccessible, because he is also like, he's teaching that choice doesn't exist, that there's a lack of accountability. So I don't know, and it's crazy to really just sit there that people will believe this, and that people will have faith in something like this, and at the point to where they start to be seen as gods. Like, they literally worship this guy. Like, this is literally a space where he is building them to depend on him to know how to go through life. And I think we're seeing this a lot. I mean, even I think the big thing is just that I'm learning is that it's all in the language. I started reading a book called Cultish, and she talks about how everything is literally just in how you talk to people and getting them to really fall into you. And this started off from a roller skating community. Like he started picking up people at the rink. And I believe now he can't go to the rink anymore, and I wonder why, but like it started in a place that you wouldn't think so, you know, and he started targeting people, taking them there. But it's so small that people that at first I was like, wait, is this a cult? Because like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean this, like, this would exist? And because we know the extreme cults, right? But what about like the baby cults, the mid cults, the like all these things that still take advantage of people and can still get them to do awful things? Like because after I had my experience, I talked to other people who had their experiences in this space. And majority of them were like, yeah, like he ruined my life, or he's ruined my relationships, or like we hate that guy, or like, you know, all these things. And it's just like, this guy is like, you are worshiping this guy, you're taking him food, like, and it's community oriented, and that's what I think that a lot of people like fall into it too, is because they lack the connection to other spaces, and that's why they more easily fall into spaces like this, because they're like, oh no, we're safe, we're loved, but and how we see it in the world now, you know. Sorry, I get really passionate about this.
I think it's so interesting that you mentioned, you know, it's community oriented, yet it's all centralized. It's all directed toward like one main charismatic figure who knows how to talk, who knows how to make promises, especially to people who may be in vulnerable positions in their lives, whether that be financial or like regarding identity, like regarding faith. Oh, maybe I haven't been a good son of God. Like, how do I get back to it? This guy seems like, I don't know, he seems really nice to me, and now I'm hanging out with him, but I really like what he's saying. But now, I don't know, now I'm giving him money all of a sudden, but like, I don't know, it's through him where like I feel like I'm getting a deeper understanding of what it means to be a son of God.
Right. But the crazy thing too is that people in there, they're like, oh no, this isn't a cult because it's free. And that's where it gets even more dangerous, is because it's more accessible. And yeah, it's not free, but he's doing other things that still make this what it is, but you're just a little blinded to it because, you know.
What exactly is being promised to the people who faithfully return to this cult?
I mean, there's a lot with it, but I feel like mainly the thing that I had the most struggle with and why I decided to leave, because when I would go, I went once a week, but people are devoted to this. So literally he has it, I think Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays and Sundays, I want to say, for like from like 6:30 until midnight. All those days. So that's a big chunk of that's a part-time job, you know. And so that's like a whole like yeah. And I would still go in because I feel like I did kind of grab things that could be useful, but also I do think that like I was starting to have my own crises, because I just was starting to like just what he was saying and things that I already knew and things that I would talk about with my therapist, like everything was like, it was just like a crisis. Like I was having like a breakdown. Like I feel like things were just, nothing was making any sense. Like he was breaking these certain things in me that I feel like that didn't need to be broken.
How would he do that? Like through talking to you and like staring at you, like looking at you?
He would always target at me is I have a lot of like issues with my dad. And I have a lot of feelings about that. I felt like he wanted to put all of us in like a negative space to then feel like he was the only one that could make us happy, and anything that he would say was the right way.
Because you're nothing, therefore you can be something. You can be somebody if you like, you know, come over here and listen. The
be somebody cult.
I mean that's why it's especially dangerous, because like, yeah, of course you can go look for communities, go look for people who make you feel really good, but like if all of a sudden your identity is stripped away, if all of a sudden your opinion doesn't matter, if one person is always correct and only that one person,
right, and you're constantly just like being reinforced, like if you feel like, if I'm feeling I'm not good enough today and he's constantly reinforcing that you're not good enough, then that's what you just believe, you know. Like I don't know, I just there's just a lot of things in terms of how we see. He started to have me question like what love really was, because I'm pretty sure like, I mean,
So your partner who introduced you to this group, were there like clues early on in your relationship, like, oh yeah, I'm a part of this thing, like maybe like you?
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And that's why I feel like when I first went in, like I was aware that these things like that I had my, what is it called, like my suspicions, like, oh yeah, this is kind of culty. but I still wanted to give it an opportunity. And once I gave it the opportunity, that's more when problems started to like arise with my partners, because I felt like I wasn't as supportive, or if there were things that I needed to talk about the space, then I wouldn't talk to her. I would talk to other people, because she would get triggered, or she would hate that I talked about this, or like, and she knew where I stood already about it, that like I hated it. I didn't like it.
But you only went because of her?
After a while, yeah, I had only gone because of her. But I just couldn't take it anymore, and it just started to show up more in our overall dynamic, because it was changing her. It absolutely was changing her.
And now that you moved past that experience, not only like the relationship, disconnection, you're far away from all of that. How do you feel? Like, what did this experience like teach you about, I don't know, your own individuality and like your own sense of self-respect?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a huge one, because it's crazy to think that I only went to this for a few months, and it's been really hard to kind of break off of it, in terms of just like the way that some things made me feel, and the way that I feel like I get really anxious about even doubting some of my choices, because I'm starting, like, I was kind of blurring what is right, or what makes more sense, or what is, because I could believe that there was like this way to do something, but because of the space, I would get anxious to have to change it, or maybe do it differently, so that I would please the fact that it had to be done in this space's way, so that she was happy, you know? So I find myself having to do some of those things sometimes, even in my life now, where I'm like, wait, Joss, like, I shouldn't be anxious that, you know, this place doesn't exist anymore. This person's not in my life anymore. Other people aren't seeing it that way. Like, how do I kind of come back to not having to feel like I need to shift because of this cult, or having to shift certain things about that to, like, yeah. So honestly, it's been really hard, and I'm at a time where I'm just so tired of it. Like, it's just been so much. And I just, like, my friends are tired of me hearing talk about it, or like my therapist. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I gotta say more about it today, even though it's already been the same things that I talk about, but they're just things that I'm literally like breaking apart and trying to relearn, because there were things I didn't realize it was so intense when I was in it too, that things were weighing on me so much. Not only with like my beliefs, but also just the way that I do things, and like how I connect with other people, and how I talk to other people, and how I talk about the things that I deal with. But yeah, I definitely feel like it made me more anxious.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, not knowing what's the right or wrong thing to, I guess, kind of do. I'm still working through it in therapy, but I do think that I feel like it's going to take me a long time to just like be comfortable with connecting, I think, with somebody on that intimate of a level. Because of that, I'm not saying it won't happen. I feel like it can. Like, with my friends, I do it, and I try to, and I think that's also why it's made me a more emotional person, because I'm just I cry for like everything now. I used to like not, and like for everything I'm just like, I just start crying. But I think that I'm just holding on to so much, and I've held on to a lot anyway, like throughout the entirety of my life. And now that I'm getting more comfortable with opening up about just like me, then it feels a little bit more safe to just like let it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it is such a crazy experience, because, you know, I think in many ways, like, it took so much from you, took so much of yourself, it took someone that you love dearly from you. It I think very much it's okay to, like, you know, be okay with like still recovering from it. I don't think you should let anyone tell you get over it, or this, that. But
I'm in a rush.
But I think overall, like,
can you feel better already? Like,
I think overall, like, looking at the whole experience, like, to me, like, what it sounds like is that people fall into these things because they very much are searching for this, like, sense of community, a sense of belonging, a sense of the things they want to hear, you know, you belong here, like, there's a solution, almost like, sounds like trying to find solutions to their problems, purpose in someone else, in another community. And it can be like so dangerous when you go down the wrong paths, but it's so difficult, you know, because like at first everyone that hears the story, you're like, oh, like all these members in it are crazy, but if you look at the root of it, like it really is like such a humane thing that people are looking for, which is belonging, purpose. And you know, anyone could like easily fall into
it can happen to anybody.
It could happen to anyone, definitely.
And it has, and we see it happening right in front of our eyes, right? I just feel like there's the different levels of the severity,
right?
But it happens.
Yeah, like there's no pact at like the end of the cold that we're all gonna, you know,
wake up or whatever. Yeah.
So it's just crazy, like hearing all this, and you went through all this in these months, but at the same time, while you were going through this, you had like one of the biggest like roles booked on your life, which I think is so crazy because it's that duality of life where you could. It's not just like sometimes it's the worst time of my life, sometimes it's the high. It's these mixtures that is life. So, you know, for people that grew up in a Spanish-speaking household and grew up, I don't even know if we should talk about the other TV show, but you did like many scenes with someone that we like both grew up watching.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, Enrique here, realizing we never said her name, Kate del Castillo. Back to the episode.
Yeah, and it's crazy how, like you said, life will do, like, I mean, life is never like this, right? There's always like this, but it sucks. Like, can I just have, like, highs for a little
just
bit,
highs.
you know? Like, not, damn.
Just take off.
But, when I got notified about the role, I was having a little bit of a crisis because I was just, like, I had my job. I had my 9-to-5 job, my stable income. I had just gotten this house. Like, I needed stable income. Like, it was a crazy shift. It felt like there's no way I can turn it down, obviously. But I can't. It's hard to say yes because I have all these other life things that are actually sustaining me. And so I decided to take it. So I got fired and I went for it. And I did this little reoccurring role with an actor that we grew up watching, and so that was, I mean, I'm framed with her in my living room, in my mom's living room, so that's how like for my mom, I already made it because that was her favorite actress, right. Like that is her favorite actress, and so to see that, you know, is just like crazy. But having to have had the opportunity to do that was literally the crazy shift, I feel like, in knowing that I can do things, you know. And literally just being in the room, we all got our scenes, we read it all together, and you're like, wow, I'm in the same room. I'm in the same room with this actor that I've seen my entire life, and we're literally just doing a scene together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's so amazing.
It's crazy.
What a feeling.
What a feeling. Like we're really just acting. We're doing what we both love. You're just more known for it.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
And it's crazy because you can see these episodes now. They're out. It's I don't know what platform it's in, but it's the cleaning lady. It's the last few episodes of the show, you know. Joseline being in it like was such an impact in the show that it just couldn't keep going. It had to end.
It ended.
The show ended because
I mean the real story was done. So
the real story was done.
Why keep it going?
But yeah, it's just so crazy how like life hands you these like highs and lows, and it's crazy because like we're at the point where like so many of the things we said we always wanted to do, we're like starting to do some of them, and we're going. And I know you mentioned to me you recently went home to Mexico, and you talked a little bit about how your family was like, you're famous and this that. So both feeling like a little bit of the imposter syndrome of like, yeah, like I have done stuff, but like I'm not where I want to be yet, you know?
Yeah. No, and going to see my family was interesting because, like you said, everyone was like, "Dang, like that is so cool! You've already made it! Like she's all famous and all this." And I was like, "I'm really not, guys." But like, it's because of like we have traveled already far in where we started where we started, you know, and that I think shows like the opportunities are just endless. They really are. But. Yeah, life is always gonna do the high and lows in that sense, and I feel like, yeah. I feel very...
Is there any like fun behind the scenes story you want to tell about those days while you were shooting your scenes or anything like that?
Behind the scenes.
Like, or describe like, oh, in this shot I was feeling this or that.
Well, on one of the scenes, I had to throw up on her shoes. So that was like kind of interesting because I was like, I'm not, I'm sorry, but like, like I gotta do it.
I'm so curious, but like, what? Because I always see those throw up scenes. What do they make you like put in your mouth before you spit it out?
I actually had nothing in my mouth. It
oh,
was all
really?
just my voice and like.
Oh,
sounds.
okay. So it was like off screen, just
it was
like.
off screen.
I see.
Yeah, so
Can we get like an impersonation right now of what you did?
Yeah,
Just put the microphones a little bit out.
Can you do it for like 2 minutes?
I don't even remember what I did. But I was like, I did something like.
Oh my god.
It wasn't like that, but.
Whoa, it's almost like we were there, like that. I feel transported to the scene.
But what is funny is that they put me as a prison leader in some extent, and I'm like, look at me, like I'm tiny and like not mean, and so like you're putting me as that. But it was cool because it's like that is kind of the kind of characters I want to go for, like kind of like badass action heavy characters.
More than meets the eye.
As what?
More than meets the eye.
Yeah, X-Men. So.
Exactly, X-Men.
That's Transformers.
Is it really?
Oh. No, I just said X. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes.
But something cool while I was on there though is that the people that were, I think she told me it was like the assistant director or assistant something to the camera, were like talking really good stuff about me behind like everything. So I was like, wow. That felt really cool too.
That's cool,
to know that like, okay, I'm doing a good job. They see me.
Yeah, they
like,
believed you.
Yeah,
You're
they
mean
believed
mugging.
me. Yeah, I was mean. So that was cool.
She really threw up like hella sick.
Damn,
those shoes are soiled, man.
Well, just see, if we were ever in prison, I would fall in your gang.
Okay,
just so
cool.
you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would expect nothing less. And you?
Your prison cult?
Oh, no. Full circle.
I don't know about that.
I know.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, there's so much more that we can keep going, but obviously Joseline's someone that's very close to us in our life that we'll probably be coming back to talk more. Before we go, there's something we do on every episode called Let Me Put You On. So basically we share to the audience something we've been essentially done this week that we just think deserves more acknowledgement and highlights.
Something we enjoy in our daily lives that maybe like, I don't know, we want to share it, maybe you, the listener, might enjoy it as well.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I guess, well, you put me on.
There you go. I put her on. And we're putting you on.
Yes. It's an app called Serialized.
Tell us about that.
And I'm somebody that likes keeping like track of things, and well, first he showed me Letterboxd a while ago, which I'm sure everybody now knows about, but it's to put films on that you've already seen or that you want to see, and Serialize is the same thing but for shows.
Wow.
And I know, so I was like, because I've been looking for something like that too, because there's shows that I've seen that I like, but that Letterboxd won't let me put because they're shows. So when he showed me this, I was like, word.
There we go.
It is.
Now I'm complete.
Now I'm complete. No, actually.
Right.
So I've literally just been putting a bunch of the anime that I've seen because I've needed a list of this for a while, and this is what's been now presented to me. Put on me. So now I put it on y'all.
Exactly.
Heck yeah. Well, we also ask 3 questions of every guest that we're happy to host on the show. Question number 1. What aren't you scared of anymore?
Oh, man. What aren't I scared of anymore? Just doing something. I feel like just going for it. I feel like, yeah, even just like, I used to be really scared of dancing in a circle, and I'm breaking free of that, and I'm just pushing myself and doing it because I'm like, I'm here once in this lifetime for who knows how long. I'm not gonna not live it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm fully, my goal 100% is yes, to not be afraid fully, but I think I'm getting really, really close.
I think maybe fear will always be there, but bravery can go above.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, because fear, I think, is also what pushes us to do more. But I don't want to carry it forever.
Sometimes fear can be a positive sign. Sometimes fear means, I don't know, maybe like a gut feeling deep within, like maybe this is what I need to be doing to push beyond my usual, the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think realistically we need it.
Yeah.
I don't think we can be without it. But it is nice when you don't have it.
Another question that we'd like to ask: what is something or someone who made a positive difference in your life?
Oof. I mean, I have a lot of those people. A lot of people in my life. But
What's the first one that comes to mind?
But the first one, I would definitely just say my mom.
Yeah.
For her, hands down. I feel like I've always seen her to be like a warrior in my life. She's endured a lot, and I think I've learned to endure because of her too. But I think that her hard work and the way that she really pushes herself too, and really opens herself, I think is really admiring, and I think I've taken with me too, and how I am now. I mean, she raised me on her own. Well, with the help of her immediate family, but I didn't grow up with my dad, so I think that was single moms. Woo!
Shout out, mama.
Shout out, single moms.
And then the final question that we have: what advice would you give your younger self?
Advice for my younger self. That one's hard. I feel like I would want to say a lot of things. But I think some advice.
Or even just words of encouragement. Like if you can go back and you could tell 12-year-old Joseline something, or when you were in high school, or when you were when you were just a kid.
I think maybe just like breathe. Just take a little breath. Because I feel like I've become more and more anxious, I feel like, growing up. But I feel like just by breathing, it could calm you. It could excite you. It could literally just like give you a second. And a lot can come from that. So I think maybe that. Just things will be fine, dude. It's not that deep. Sometimes it's not that deep.
Sometimes it's not that deep.
Life is deep, but sometimes it's just really not that deep.
Totally.
Yeah. Not that crazy inspirational, but yeah, it's not that deep.
Well, this has been so fun, Josh. Like, it really means so much, like, to have you here in this exact space. And then we've been talking about, like, we got to get out to LA, and we got to get out to LA. We finally made it. Now it's your turn. Now we're all together. So thank you so much for your candor and your humor and just your overall light. Like, the way you just shine as a person. Like, that's exactly why we wanted to have you as our very first guest.
Yeah. And then, like I mentioned, like, we'll insert one of those marble title cards. Joseline will be back in Dune 3. Joseline will be back in Be Somebody podcast. Yeah, there's not much to say because there is so many more things to say, which we will say down the line. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode.
Oh, for real. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on here. And I know that this is going to be something really special. And it's an honor for me to be here and to really talk to you guys about these things and really expand and continue to expand on all the things and our memories and our friendship. And I'm just happy to be here with them and continue to be here with them. And I'm just so happy to be here. We in LA. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it was whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was Be Somebody.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
My name is Amadeo.
My name is Enrique.
And my name's Joseline.
See you next time, yo.